Let's see. The Love Guru, Austin Powers movies, Wayne's World 1 and 2.
I can kind of see where this is going, and I'm afraid to ask.
What? You said we were doing Halloween movies without Mike Myers.
Michael Myers.
What's going on here?
The old man's off his meds again.
I'm on it. Hello and welcome to MonsterKid Fury. I'm Callie. Joining me is Rich from MonsterKid Central. Hi, Rich.
Howdy.
And Rick from Film Fury. Hi, Ricky.
14 more days to Halloween. Halloween. Well, at least when we recorded this.
At the time of recording. And we will be discussing non-Michael Myers Halloween movies.
Wait a minute, there are such things? Why, I had no idea.
There were Halloween movies before Halloween.
Yes.
And after Halloween. Oh my god.
So Ricky actually learned something new about me. I only started trick-or-treating at the age of like 10 or 11 years old.
Wow. I'm pretty sure I trick-or-treated in the stroller. I mean, I think one of them pushed me over. Both my parents loved it.
Yeah. And it's just a cultural difference thing.
Yep.
And I'm happy that I was introduced to it when I was, because I don't think that Ricky would have had the same reaction if I wasn't down for taking the kids trick-or-treating or didn't have any concept of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, and that's the thing. If I could go back in time and make sure my wife gets all the child little elements that she never got, because that's important. So is a viewing of Star Wars when you're a child as opposed to an adult and can't get it.
Oh my
As a
goodness.
child, you would have fallen in love with it. You'd have been like Ewoks.
Well, actually,
They're cute.
I was 21 when it came out, so I wasn't a child anyway.
But you're open to those type of things to begin with.
Yes, I am.
See, and that's what's funny about horror for me. I loved Halloween, from a small child. So
Hmm.
you think Jaws, the music to that wouldn't scare me as much as it did, any of those type of things. But yeah, my one of my first costumes, I guess I was 5, and my mom talked about this all the time. I was a little devil. And apparently there was a house on the street where this creepy guy was sitting there and, here, you can get your candy, but you got to come get it. And nobody would go up. And mom was like, go ahead, get your candy. And I wasn't afraid. I went up, picked out my candy. And as I walked away, because he seemed upset, it's like, aren't you scared? And I'm just like, and I walk away and he steps on my tail and it was this little Velcro thing. So my tail came off and I turned around with much attitude, as my mom explained it. You broke my tail.
I mean, he did. How would you do that? That's not cool.
Could have been worse. I could have stabbed him with my pitchfork.
I would have stabbed him with the pitchfork. Plastic pitchfork never hurt nobody.
I don't know. That's like 1970s plastic pitchfork, where there were no safety restrictions.
Boy, that's for sure.
Okay, I take that back.
Yeah, my parents, one would do the door, the other one would walk the kids around the neighborhood, and then they'd switch halfway because they both wanted to do the walking around the neighborhood with us. So, which now leads us to the reason that we're doing a Meyerless Halloween, because it makes us gag. I mean, Myers movies make us gag because they can't frickin' get them right.
Can't talk about that. See, we can't talk about Halloween movies. I was about to say, well, part 4 really captures the sense of the season with its opening credits. I think it definitely feels like October.
You just said we can't talk about it, and then you're talking about it.
Well, because he said they gag, so he's
Well,
already he's already he's already
this is
opened up the.
yeah, this is to let everybody know what they're missing if we had decided to do Michael Myers.
I think one of the movies that I started watching as a kid that always kind of, even in the thick of summer, reminded me of October and fall because that's when it takes place. Is Something Wicked This Way Comes,
Yes.
based on the Ray Bradbury book, which he wrote the script for the movie as well.
Yep.
And it was the heavy inspiration for Don Coscarelli when he created Phantasm.
Yeah. I
Oh.
I could see that.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Pryce. He is a tall man. Dressed all in black and everything. What did you think of that adaptation?
I rather enjoyed it.
It was one of the first times I remember seeing Jason Robards in a movie,
Yeah.
and then I saw him later in another movie called Max Dugan Returns, which is cool.
Right. He was in one of my
But
favorite political movies. He was in All the President's Men as Ben Bradley.
what I love about Something Wicked, though, is it just feels so much like, I mean, it catches it. Like you can watch it again in the thick of summer, and you'll want to grab a cup of cocoa and a blanket. You're just like, "Ooh, this is perfect."
I think I saw the movie on one of the pay channels. I'm not exactly sure, but I think like the movie channel or something like that. Um, and for some reason, I wasn't expecting much, and I rather liked it. I thought they did a damn good job when you consider, but that's probably because he wrote the script,
Well, just like the Halloween Tree, the animated movie based upon
right?
his short story, he did the script for that, and that's another great seasonal movie. And you have the voice of Leonard Nimoy as the big bad in that one.
Well, you two will be happy to know that our editor, Kathy, uh, that's one of her favorite things on the planet, the Halloween tree.
Should be like
Hi,
a movie I
Kathy.
know. This is great.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So, since I haven't seen this one, is it a live action or is it an animated?
it's a live action.
Oh, okay.
Wait, are we talking about Something Wicked or
Yeah,
Halloween Tree?
Something
yeah,
wicked.
something wicked.
Yeah, yeah, Something Wicked's live action. Yeah.
Cool.
My favorite Halloween movie is just one that actually takes place on Halloween. It's not the season of, it is Halloween. And it's
Hmm.
something that I would be willing to bet a lot of people don't think about. And it is one of my favorite movies ever, Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh,
Now, Arsenic and
Oh,
Old Lace is a comedy um, with some pretty damn good actors in it, including Cary Grant, and it talks about, well, I don't want to give too much away, but it's dark, but dark funny, and there is a line in it, um, and its origins was when it was a stage show. Boris Karloff was playing uh, Jonathan, the big bad in it, and he looks like he looks. Obviously, I mean he's a great character actor, and he's talking about somebody who did plastic surgery on him to make him not look like the old him because he wanted to not get caught. So he had his face altered, and Boris Karloff gets to say the line, "He makes me look like Boris Karloff."
huh.
To which the audience just lost their shit. So now what happens is they decide to go with Arsenic and Old Lace as a movie, and again, it's sensational. But Karloff can't get out of his contract. to
Oh
do the
no.
movie.
Mm.
So Raymond Massey does the movie, and he does it in makeup that makes him look more chiseled, but not in a handsome way. It just much more stone, almost stone-like in his
Oh,
colorations. And he does say the line, and the line still does get big laughs, but obviously not as big as Boris Karloff saying them.
yeah.
Well, my parents went to see it in New Haven with Karloff on the stage,
Ooh.
and and absolutely loved it. Um, I got a chance to see it in the 80s. I think it was 86 or 87 at basically the same theater, but it was with, obviously, it was with a new cast. And I think it was fantastic because um, Marion Ross was in it, and Maureen Stapleton was in it. And, no, Gene Stapleton was in it. Jonathan Frid was in it, playing the he made me look like Boris Karloff part. Um, and I mean, it was this great cast, and um, because Peter Lorre was known for playing Dr. Einstein, Larry Storch from F Troop fame did the part, but he did it as Peter Lorre because he said that voice is so much part of the character that it didn't work with his voice. So it was Larry Storch doing Peter Lorre doing doing Dr. Einstein. But it was a great production. I mean, obviously, I could not see the original production, which Karloff did probably hundreds of times. There's a
Wow.
there's a story that there was an outpost in Alaska that something about an army base there because it's so close in proximity to Russia. Um, and they heard that there were these guys who were basically, like the Thing. They were just stranded up there, and
Mm.
so they decided to go to Alaska and perform it for them.
And put on a show.
And
Hmm.
Karloff took his check and gave it back to them and said that
Oh,
he wanted to do it for for them. So anyway, but if you haven't seen Arsenic and Old Lace, you really owe it to yourself. It's very funny. It's very frantic at certain times. There's a lot going on, and I think this is a great movie. So that's that's my that's my absolute go-to on Halloween. No matter what, I could be sick as a dog. I'm watching this movie. So, and I just got the Criterion release, so I'm all pumped. Um,
nice.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see it on Halloween, but I'll see it a day or two before because I'll be traveling. So,
Is the Boris version, is it out there like a bootleg or anything?
um, there is he did it 3 times, I think, for television. Um,
Hmm.
Hallmark Hall of Fame kind of thing. And there is one with him in it, and he's much older. It's like 1962, I think. And Tony Randall plays the Cary Grant part, which I know that sounds weird, but Cary Grant isn't the strong, commanding Cary Grant in this. He's the only normie in this group. So he's more of a, I don't want to say a meek person, but in a way that's what he's playing. He's playing the quiet character, so he's not playing the star. Um,
Oh,
so that's why Tony Roberts played him. A bunch of people played him. And by the way, there's a Warner Brothers cartoon that takes place, I believe, also on Halloween, and there's a bunch of cats in the alley, and they're making noise, because they're drunk, and one of the bottles says arsenic and old grapes.
That's awesome.
So they got that in, which I thought was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, that's my only. Please see this movie because it's well worth it.
Now I have to. Have you seen it, baby?
No, actually, I have not.
I think you'll love it. I think it's a mad movie, and I think it's wonderful.
It's
And the
going
funny
on the
thing,
list.
is, I didn't hear about it like when I was a kid. Somebody said
Oh,
to me, I might have been 14. You know, well, what do you think of arsenic and old lace? And I went, huh? And he said, Halloween movie, and I said, not getting it. And I can't remember how I saw it. I guess maybe PBS ran it one night, the night of Halloween. I'm not sure.
mm.
Um, the PBS station used to be terrific around Halloween. In fact, the reason I saw all of the Universal Frankensteins was because the PBS station ran them at 11 o'clock in a row the week of Halloween.
Ooh.
So it was in order, in a row, and it was great. And, as long as you could stay up till 12:30,
You got your viewing in, huh?
got to see them uncut, no commercials. So, yeah,
Oh, no way.
the PBS station was sensational. So, does anybody else have some fun non-Michael Myers movies? Oh, by the way,
Well,
does Halloween 3 can we do Halloween 3?
dude, you took mine. You took mine.
Oh, you did?
Damn it.
All right. No, just cut that out. All
No,
right.
we're gonna keep that in. We're gonna keep it
No, we're gonna keep that. We're gonna keep it.
in.
No, but what I was going to mention, a great
Mhm.
Halloween movie that's not Halloween is 1988's Lady in White,
Ah,
which again, very much like Something Wicked This Way Comes, it just feels like the season.
right.
The
Oh,
fact that
that's
it was shot in
creepy.
upstate New York and everything.
Yeah.
You saw this one, baby.
Did I?
This is where the kid gets locked into the wardrobe of his school, and he sees the little girl, the spirit of a little girl who had been murdered. And it turns into a whole situation where the wrong man has been accused. It has a very subtle social commentary about racism because the janitor who's accused is a black man. So it's a really good movie.
When did you show this to me, though?
Oh, some time ago.
That
It has
night,
Lucas Haas in it.
It has what?
remember remember
Lucas
that night
Haas.
after he chloroformed you? That's the night he showed it to you.
All right, look,
Oh.
you don't have to talk about our engagement, okay? This is just uncalled for.
The wedding night.
Dun dun dun.
Uh, both of you.
Lucas Haas. So he was like a kid,
He
obviously.
was the little kid. Yeah, he was the
Okay.
little kid in Witness with Harrison Ford. Big ears.
Yeah,
He
I
ended up
remember
in.
him.
He's
I'm
gone
trying to
back
think of
to
the
acting over
movie.
the years, and he's really great as an adult.
Still with big ears?
No, it's not as pronounced as before.
Oh, so he grew into
Um,
them. Good. Good for him.
Right? You always hope.
uh,
So
be nice.
was he the lead in Tim Burton's Dumbo?
Oh,
My God, you're just so angry at this dude. What did he do to you?
It's big ear jokes. I mean,
Uh, no, Lady in White though, I do. I love it because I actually saw it in the theater when it opened
hmm.
because there was a small cinema. It was a one screen theater right around the corner from the apartment that we lived in Long Beach, California, and they would have just extremely cheap movie days, like $2, a buck. and I got to see this when it first came out, and it's just a really cool. Actually, it would work perfect for your column, sweetheart. It's a good gateway horror movie because it's just creepy enough, but it's not going to terrify anyone.
Oh, you're talking to Callie. All right, because I
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
sweetheart. I wasn't sure which one. Um, and,
You're my other sweetheart, but
Yeah, that's why you got to clarify.
mhm.
anyhow, that's one of the ones that I didn't see in the theater. I saw that on videotape.
Oh.
That
It was
ancient artifact known as videotape.
Yes, it was at my friend's video store, and I thought it was terrific. I thought
Hmm.
the atmosphere in that, you talk about cut it with a knife. Holy crap!
Oh.
Um, Great atmosphere. But I also don't know that much about it. Rick, who directed it?
Langella, I always forget his first name because I want to say Frank, and that's not his name. Uh, it's
Yeah.
like he's an act. Oh no, no, it is Frank Langella. Okay.
Oh, cut it out.
Oh, no, okay. I'm messing up the pronunciation of his last name. It's Laloggia. So does that Lalogia? Lalogia? Is
Hmm.
that how you would pronounce it?
Hmm.
But unfortunately, such a fantastic filmmaker, and he only did, to my knowledge, a handful of other movies. He did Fear No Evil, which is another kind of low budget horror film, and then yeah, that's about it really.
Yeah. Well,
So
we've
I'm
run
not sure
into
what
that.
happened there.
We've run into that before. I mean, Herc Harvey, the guy who directed Carnival of Souls, one and done.
I know, which is such an influential film in itself,
You ain't kidding.
and he was from advertising too.
Yeah,
He wasn't a
just like
filmmaker by trade.
Romero was from advertising. Romero was doing those short films on sports people, including OJ.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was one of the leading, directors of the Steelers documentaries at the time for
Yep,
television.
yep. So I guess a lot of people came to it that way, but I really do wish that Herc Harvey had directed something else, because what we're left with is, was this the way he would shoot basically anything, or was this a fluke? And I hate that. I hate when somebody is that talented, because no doubt about it, whether you call it low budget or not, it took talent to make that movie, because it's so incredibly different than anything else. Um, so I would like to know how he would have done a different movie. So
Yeah,
it's a
because
shame.
without additional films, we don't get to see if there was a development of style, or like you said, if it was a fluke.
Yeah, because it certainly could have been a fluke. It could have been, like we've talked about in the past, such and such didn't work, so we had to go with such, with blank. And then you sit there and you say, well, okay, so if the shark had worked, Jaws would have sucked. So we don't know if this was something that he did because he couldn't do something else. All I know is it's an amazingly atmospheric, as you can see right here. Um, you know, it's really atmospheric, very spooky, and I think that's the first movie that really freaked my brother from another mother, Bob Haggerty. That I pretty sure that freaked him all out. So, because he was
Yeah,
telling me
that's
about it and I had never heard about it. So anyway,
it's a good movie to watch. Like if you've never seen it before, to watch it real late at night with the lights off,
yep,
and guaranteed
absolutely.
it's going to get to you.
Yeah, that will draw you in. Absolutely. Um, and I think that the fact that it's one of those movies that people that are not in the know, when they hear, oh yeah, Criterion Collection's putting out Carnival of Souls, they probably go, what? Why? And those of us in the know are like, oh, thank God, somebody's going to treat this thing with some respect because it's a sensational, freaky looking movie. So anyway, I think we probably verged just a bit.
But that's good though. This is good verging.
Okay.
Acting like we never do that. What are you talking about?
All right. So does anybody else have some Halloween fare that they would like to talk about?
Yeah. I would say that my first kind of Halloween movie that I was able to sit down and watch from beginning to end and continued watching time after time was Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah. There you go.
It is one of my favorite all-time Halloween movies
Yep.
simply because again, it's so derpy and fun.
Yeah.
And Jim Varney, he's everything.
Yeah.
And you can just feel the amount of uh accidentally cool but but extremely heartfelt, and he was able to really showcase a lot of that in everything that he was in or a part of, just his everyday. There you
Yep.
go.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, I've always had a soft spot for the Ernest character because my son and I went to see Ernest Saves Christmas, and it was
Oh,
one of the most fun we had ever had in the theater. And I just think we both like got it so much that it was a lot of face palming, a lot of
oh
eye
yeah.
rolling, it was just a lot of fun. And um, I got him that DVD a couple of Christmases ago because and he was like, "Oh," he says, "this was a really fun movie." So anyway, so yeah, the Scared Stupid was a terrific Halloween movie, a lot of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've shown it to our kids. So
Really?
yeah. It might
Well,
have.
no, because we definitely bought it on one of those like multi DVD movie kind of things with
Okay.
like a whole bunch of his flicks on it.
I know we've probably shown it to the boys, but maybe not Niobe.
Oh, you gotta show it.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm gonna wait just a little while longer for to show it to the three grands because
Hmm.
one of them's 9, and I'd rather she be like 11.
When she
Just
watches it.
I
Okay.
think she'll get it a little bit more when she's 11 than she would at 9. So
That makes sense.
Hmm.
anyway, but I'm waiting. But I mean, I got it. It's on the shelf. It's ready to go.
Yep. Yep.
Well, my next suggestion for the holidays is a little winner called Night of the Demons.
Hmm. Okay.
Which it's a more raunchy version of the holiday, obviously. But I mean, the opening credits alone are wonderful because it's this animated credit sequence with skeletons and jack-o'-lanterns, and it's pretty wild. And you have a bunch of deplorable teens who decide to have a party at a haunted house, and one of the characters gets possessed by a demon.
Hmm. I don't remember actually seeing it, although I sure as hell remember the box on the
Oh yeah.
video shelves. I mean, that it's just one of those deals where the box was so well designed
It's very
that,
striking.
yeah, so you notice it, but I don't actually think I ever got to it. So
Are you
it's
sure
just one.
about that?
I'm. almost sure about it because I would remember, some little things about it, even if I was under the
Would you
weather.
would you remember this little thing then? Because it happens in the movie.
What? Oh,
That's in the
oh,
movie.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty sure I'd remember that.
yeah,
That's what I
Linnea
was thinking.
Quigley.
So I guess you really haven't seen it. How can you not have seen Night of the Demons?
Nope.
You got homework, man.
Yeah, I guess I do.
I
Hmm.
remember watching that. Okay. And I couldn't get through part of it because it was, yeah. Yeah, that one was actually kind of gory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh
remember
well.
that ass though. That Linnea. That's why I was like, okay. Yeah,
Uh,
she looks familiar.
yeah. Kevin
From
Tenney,
back
who did
there.
Witchboard. Yeah, Kevin Tenney, who did Witchboard, directed that.
Yeah.
Witchboard.
Yeah.
I
He
like that
was
movie.
he was a no relation to Del Tenney, right? The guy who did Horror Party Beach, Curse of the Living Corpse. I don't think he was.
Not that I know of, no. But another underrated director, man, who just got lost in the bunch.
Mm.
Because Night of the Demons is solid, Witchboard is solid. Witch Trap, which has no connection to Witchboard, is a good movie. He did a movie called Peacemaker with Robert Forrester, which is wild.
Which way is loose? No, I'm just kidding.
Just everything with witch.
Uh,
Yeah, anything with witch in it. So no, I don't think I saw it, but I certainly will.
do you remember enjoying like TV shows that would have Halloween episodes, sitcoms, things of that nature?
Yeah, most of the ones that I wrote about last month um, were, I think, Halloween episodes.
Hmm.
Um, so and again, I might be wrong, but I just can't see anybody doing a random monster or horror episode just like in June. I think they would say, no, let's hold that script until October.
Hmm.
So,
I mean, we already know we love the episode, but Buffy, I love their Halloween episode.
oh
That
my
is so
God,
great
yeah,
with the cursed costumes.
yep,
So good. I
yep,
love it. Xander turns into the soldier. I will protect you, ma'am.
yep, yeah. That
So
was
good.
well. Look, Buffy did damn near everything right. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Hold off, man. Save it for Vampires Part 2.
oh, fine.
I
That's
always dug that as a kid because my mom was a big sitcom watcher. So anytime a sitcom did like a Christmas episode or a Halloween episode, it just kind
yep,
of took precedence over everything else, because
yep.
it still worked into something I enjoyed.
They were special.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, they still
I
are. Like
mean,
I said, I wrote about them last month. So, you know, anything that the way I structured it was that it couldn't be a scary show series. It couldn't be a scary or supernatural series. It had to be a normal series, but with a monster in it. So F Troop had Vincent Price as a vampire in an episode called V is for Vampire. Um, and Route 66, which was basically a travel log. It was a drama, but it was about two guys who took the car and went up Route 66, and they'd find stuff there. But they did an episode called Lizard Legs and Owlet's Wings that had Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, and Lon Chaney Jr. in it, and it was them doing monsters. It wasn't like them playing straight roles. It was they were actually, so because I didn't count those. I didn't, if like give you for instance, Wild Wild West. Karloff did an episode of Wild Wild West where he was an Indian, and I mean from India. I didn't include that because yes, it was Karloff, but it wasn't a horror role. So I was just doing stuff that has
Specifically horror,
horror
supernatural.
in a horror supernatural in a non-horror series.
Yes.
So because I love having like marathons of that around Halloween.
Hmm.
Michael Land in Highway to Heaven. Michael Landon did a spoof on I Was a Teenage Werewolf called
Oh, I love that
I
one.
Was a Middle-Aged Werewolf. And
Oh.
well, the story was like with a lot of people
Hmm.
that he hated that movie because who the hell wants to do Teenage Werewolf when you're now directing and you're in these prestige pieces and he finally came out and he said that's an out and out lie. I don't dislike that movie catapulted me into got me TV gigs.
Hmm.
I think it got him Bonanza. I would
Hmm.
assume it did. And he said I love that movie, and I guess to counter all the negativity he did I Was a Middle-Aged Werewolf. So and it's like cool, okay, so he puts the makeup on, he does the whole thing again. So
And look
yeah,
at him. He looks scary as hell, man.
yep. So
As a middle-aged werewolf.
Hmm.
absolutely.
I mean, it's hard to tell in this one because he's smiling, but
Yeah,
I love the hair.
he said he had a ball doing it too. So
That's
awesome.
cool.
yeah, but my
Yeah.
understanding was he was pretty awesome anyway. So
Yes.
you
Yeah,
know
that's what I've heard too.
the
And
unfortunate thing is I wasn't interested in a lot of the stuff that he did do. I wasn't I wasn't a Little House on the Prairie guy. I wasn't that Highway to Heaven guy. So, but geez, I mean, I certainly think that he paid his dues and earned our respect, and again was pretty funny.
and he had such, even if you didn't watch his stuff, when you saw him, he had such charisma. It
Yeah,
just oozed off the guy.
yeah, and I think it was Carson who absolutely loved having him on the show, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly, because
Yeah,
it always kind of went a little south and it was funny. So anyway, so that's my
and
understanding.
Roseanne had so many great Halloween episodes. Like
Yep,
that was
Oh.
actually that was one of the few sitcoms I enjoyed. I guess because it was from a working class standpoint and everything.
right.
But they did so many Halloween episodes. I can't find a picture of it, but there's one with Dan. He breaks into their bedroom with a hockey mask and a weed whacker or something like that. And I just remember that. There's a little. I think that's where they made a haunted house. Is what they did here, which is cool.
Very cool.
Did you see the Quantum Leap Halloween episode?
No.
That one was really great. He leaped into the body of a frustrated writer.
Oh, okay, that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And you think he was there, like most Quantum Leap episodes. He usually turned out to be there for another reason that they initially quantified, no pun
Right.
intended. And it turns out he was really there to inspire a young writer, a kid whose name was Stevie King.
Ah,
Yeah,
there you go.
but it was
Nice.
pretty neat though because
Yeah.
part of the episode was contingent on the idea of an evil leaper.
Mm,
So the idea was the devil had sent the evil leaper because basically it's like what gives you the right to fix everything that I did wrong.
yeah.
Basically, it was pretty neat. But then he wakes up from his dream and yeah, they discover that the true reason to be there was to inspire the writer of Christine and Salem's Lot.
Cool. Well, I desperately wanted to do horror themed normal episode to something. And I actually finally got my chance in a way with the Showtime series Crisscross, because I structured it very much like a giallo. Now, mind you, it didn't have murders and stuff like that, but I absolutely did do that deliberately, and that's the one that Ron Oliver ended up directing, and uh, and
the director of Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss.
yeah, and he did me solid. I mean, he did a great job in the episode. Um, Made me look damn good. So I greatly appreciated it.
Awesome. I think we're gonna have to see that one then, because Ricky loves giallos.
Well,
Yes,
there's
I've been
always room for giallo.
Oh,
Thank you very much. I'm doing that on a T-shirt, by the way.
yeah, we are
I
copyrighting
kind
that.
of have to, yeah.
there's
Oh,
always
that's right.
room for giallos.
That's right. This is a copyrighted broadcast, and I brought it up here, so we're covered.
All right, well, two of us will have an answer to this question because the other person has limited experience. What was your favorite costume growing up?
The Ben Cooper Frankenstein monster when I was probably 5 or 6 years old,
Oh,
and I mean it was just a sensational. Although, of course, the Frankenstein monster is also on the body of it, so
so yeah. So his
you
face,
know, yeah, I would have much rather had it be the dark, suit kind of thing that
and then you have your
Karloff
mask.
wore, right? And then the mask. But no, it appears that this Frankenstein's monster was so fucking full of himself that he wore a picture of himself on his shirt. And how he
Oh,
got it, I don't know, but that was my absolute favorite. And I was down I was down in the basement one day, like way after Halloween. My father had put the mask, just to keep it in decent shape, had put it on a coat rack down there,
Oh,
so the mask was about head height. And we had one of those things where you could shut off the light at the top of the stairs, and I
mhm.
and no one knew I was down there. So they
Oh
shut the
no.
light off, and the next thing you know, the mask is because it's a glow in the dark mask, and
oh,
and
Mhm.
now I can see the mask, and I'm terrified. Now I'm like 6, and I run to get to the stairs, and I'm running like this. Oh, I gotta do like this, and I run it right into a pole that happened to be right there. And my father the next day said, "Okay, so again, if it ever happens to you, you run like this, so you can't run into." And I was like, "Well, or just don't shut the light off on me next time I'm down there and scare me." So we had to take that mask and move it to the other side of the coat rack because it was just terrifying.
that would
And
be
again,
terrifying for anybody older than 6.
but again, I had
Mhm.
worn it. It's not, I mean, it's like I could have, should have kind of figured that it was there. But
No,
anyhow,
no, you're
but
not
that was my
logical at that
favorite.
age.
Well, that's true. Well, I'm not logical at this age. So,
Oh,
all right, Rick, what was your favorite costume?
Well, being a big kid, it's kind of hard to fit into some of the Cooper costumes and everything.
Yeah, well,
So my one of my favorite was being the Wolfman one year. It was a Dawn Post mask from like
nice.
'81, I believe.
Wow.
And I don't have the mask anymore, but
You should,
I did
because
find it on eBay. That's what it looked like pretty much. And then I had some type of what you call it, plaid shirt or something, and then
oh,
right,
just jeans, and then you just do the hunker down kind of
can
thing.
you
right.
click on another picture for the front shot?
This one though is so distressed on the front, you just see a mess.
That's why it's only going for $100 is because it's distressed on the
It's
front.
distressed.
But look at the condition. It's just so wonderful, isn't it? Look at it.
Oh my
Yikes!
gosh. Yeah, that's smashed.
Wolfman got kicked in the nose. He's like, "Ooh."
If your
Yikes!
NARS are your face.
Yeah. But then over the years, I dressed like Freddy a couple times, Michael Myers, Jason. But in terms of like one that really sticks out, the Wolfman was pretty great.
Yeah.
What about you, my baby?
Even after I was introduced to trick or treating, I don't recall any real like dressing up. Even as a teenager, I just ran around with my buddies and we didn't have costumes per se. Like, just did makeup effects on our faces probably, and that was it. I
Okay.
think
Well,
a
that's
zombie.
something.
Yeah, maybe a zombie or a crazed person just splattering red on us to make it look like, we had done something awful. And that was it.
Well,
Okay.
you dressed up like a wolf in sheep's clothing when I was Little Red Riding Hood.
I did. I did. Well, Grandma Wolf, right? So yeah, we found this really cool werewolf head at, of all places, Home Depot.
Wow.
And
Oh.
yes, and it had this really cool mechanism to it to where if you open your jaw, the mouth actually opened. So it was just a really neat mask. Cheap, for what it
Right.
was. It was like $20 or so. And
Hmm.
got that. And I came up with the bright idea since I hadn't dressed up for Halloween or anything. And I asked Nye, "Do you want to be Little Red Riding Hood?" And she said, "Sure." So I sewed her a cape, a red cape, and it was fun. We went to a Halloween party and everything.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I did get to dress up as an adult.
Well, when Mike was 10, he went as Freddy. Um,
Ooh,
so we put makeup on his face, and I got the outfit. Um,
the fedora.
yeah, I mean the whole thing. Yeah, and he liked it, but again, it's Florida, so he said to me that the makeup doesn't feel right after about an hour and a half. So we took it, washed it off his face, and he just went back out. It was a little kid pretending to be Freddy prior to the accident.
Okay. Was
That's
it an
good enough.
accident or was it what killed him?
What killed him? Well, yeah, Freddy's never dies. I
I was trying
when
to find the mask and I couldn't find it. I
Oh,
wow.
was trying to find the wolf mask. I saw it so many times. I was like, "Rawr."
you
Well,
interrupted Rich. You were saying?
Sorry,
no, no, no,
Rich.
no. That's okay. I was just thinking, wasn't there the anthology series, not series, the anthology movie called Trick or Treat?
Yes.
Had the little kid in it
Uh,
with the
Oh yeah, Trick or Treat. Yeah.
With
yeah,
Sam.
right,
Hmm.
Sam. I seem to remember that was okay.
We really do love that movie in this house.
Perfect.
And I was waiting for Ricky to bring it up actually. Cuz I already threw down my ace, Ernest Scared Stupid, that's all I had.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
you were
but
gonna bring it up actually.
it was a great pick though. Um, yeah, I kind of like that movie. Well, I'm a nut for anthology movies anyway. I'm starting to I'm starting to be able to see why Michael Myers is in every single stinking Halloween because it's like, well, he's needed.
That's not true. You can have Halloween movies that don't have Michael Myers.
Yeah, I know, but we're sitting here going, yeah, there's one that had the giant cow in it, and I mean, There
Well,
should be.
how can you forget Trick or Treat from the 80s?
In essence, it looks like the shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah,
It
in many
does.
respects.
Look at that jack-o'-lantern.
Wow,
Did you see this one, Rich? Directed
I
by Charles
did.
Martin Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah, directed by the guy from Starman and American
and
Graffiti.
Bonnie and Clyde. Yep,
Hmm.
I think. No, it wasn't. Um,
Was he in Bonnie and Clyde?
no, I thought he was. No, it's another guy that I always mix up with him, but I can't remember now.
Trick or Treat 86 has like one of the best soundtracks. It's just heavy metal of the period, and it's so good.
So here's my question about it. Do you know if they were able to release it with all the music, or were there holdout bands?
There was a real cheapy DVD back in the early 2000s. It's being re-released though by Arrow, I believe it is. It's either Arrow or Synapse, and somehow they've been able to finally get through all the legalities of it.
Oh, that's good because that,
Yeah, so I'm looking.
yeah, because I freaking hate, you you buy the DVD and you pop it in, and the next thing you know, you're reading the liner notes, and it's the music in here never showed up in the movie in the first place.
Mm.
It's all
Yeah, it's
generic shit.
actually, unfortunately, it's Synapse instead of Arrow because I would have rather seen Arrow get the props for this. But hey, as long as we get it, I guess.
Yeah,
It looks pretty cool though.
So did you guys like it?
Oh yeah, I
I
loved it. It's
I
a fun
enjoyed
little
it.
movie.
It's kind of weird, or it's always been a little weird when you have a rock band that prominent in any movie,
Hmm.
Rock and Roll Nightmare, a bunch of things, because more times than not, you're sitting there listening to the band, and you're like, okay, so like this is nothing that I like. This is nothing I'm used to. It doesn't sound like even current, Um, so I always thought that they had that going against it, um, but I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but it's my favorite holiday.
So what is the premise of this movie that features a rock band?
You have a young man who's kind of he's bullied by people because of his he's just different. He's definitely not a preppy. He loves heavy metal music, and he loves one guy in particular who, as I recall, he dies. So at some point, our young hero in this movie, he plays the album backwards, and it unleashes this guy back to life, and he's
Oh.
demonic. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It definitely played on the Satanic Panic
Yeah,
period
absolutely.
that was going on in America.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun little movie though,
Hmm.
even if most of it is driven by the soundtrack.
Well, again, the soundtrack doesn't even have to be good for me to be pissed off if they're not going to play the original stuff, because I don't like when they alter movies, and I understand what happened is, um, for they signed, the band signed this deal before there was videotape, before they knew that they were going to be rented and everything. So I get that, but still, I mean, there's some stuff that's out there. No one's ever going to fix it, so it's always going to have the wrong music, and I really do tend to stay away from that stuff. It's enough to piss me off.
So you're saying this in regards to movies, and I've heard Ricky talking about this from before, the TV series Werewolf.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah,
Shout Factory, they had started the project, everything. They had invested a lot of money into it, and then they couldn't secure the rights to one song.
yep.
And it was rumored from more than one party that it was Mike and the Mechanics that held everything up
Well, that
because
figures.
their song "Silent Running" plays in the pilot episode.
Yeah.
And it's an important piece of music to that, huh?
I feel, yeah, that sequence. I definitely feel that it does.
Mm.
Well, there was a non-horror series called Buffalo Bill with Dabney Coleman, and it was like really sharp humor, but I mean like sharp, like stabbing with a knife kind of humor. It was there were it would piss off about, I don't know, a dozen people per episode. They write in and say, that was terrible, and but anyway, I finally got the series, and I don't think there was one of the original songs in the entire series.
Oh, wow.
And I brought it back. I have no use for this.
Oh, that's horrible.
That
Yeah,
is.
it really was. It's a damn shame.
I remember the same thing happened with Return of the Living Dead Part 2 when it came out on DVD originally at Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
They replaced it with this horrible electronic score.
yeah,
I mean, not even trying to stay in touch with the spirit of the original score. It was like, don't, 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 don't. It's like,
right.
what are you doing?
Yeah,
But that was it. That was the clip that made it to where it's like, yeah, we're going to shelve the whole project.
Dang.
damn.
Freaking horrible. Because that was such a great show, man.
Yeah, I remember it being fairly popular too.
2 seasons. And then by that time, Fox decided to dump it because whoever
Yeah,
came aboard to run that particular network didn't like horror. So they're like, we're going to get rid of it.
that's ridiculous. Then again, I mean, horror history is littered with stories like that.
I want to say the pilot even aired. I think it was on Halloween night, actually.
Hmm.
The very first episode, yeah.
Just like Walking Dead,
Was it? I'm trying to remember.
Halloween night, 2010.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Did we watch that on Halloween night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were pregnant. Which brings
Yeah.
it back around, kids. All right, let's get back to Halloween itself. Your favorite Halloween candy, which really can be any candy, obviously.
Oh, it's either Reese's, not Reese's Pieces. Well, first of all, they weren't around when I was a kid.
Oh.
But I hate Reese's Pieces, but the peanut butter cups call to me in the cashier. It's like I can hear them. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna say either Reese's or Milky Way. Any of the chocolate bars.
Okay.
I really really like. There was a candy bar called Sky Bar that had four different
Oh, like layers.
sections. Yeah, and you would break it off because it was like peanut, uh,
Care.
chocolate, caramel, and I think vanilla. And
Oh,
you'd break off a piece of it, and you'd eat it that way. And those were really good. And I finally found somebody who was manufacturing them and
yeah, they
selling
still
them
make it. Yeah,
selling them over the internet in a case. And I bought Haggerty a case. That's
oh,
them.
no way.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Huh.
huh.
And I think basically he said, man, this is really great, but it's going to take me about a year and a half to finish.
Well,
So,
thankfully, I think you can freeze that stuff and keep them fresher longer.
oh, you can trust me.
Oh, already researched and done. Excellent.
Oh yeah. So I absolutely love chocolate bars, and I know that's a really stupid generic way to say it, but that's really what I like. Any candy bar that had chocolate covered, I'm good.
And what about you?
Pretty much Reese's Buttercups and Nestle Crunch Bar. Those were the
Oh,
ones I dug so much on Halloween night. Love those
yeah.
so much.
I don't know if you
But
noticed, but I'm gaining weight just talking about it.
but these kids today, man, they don't understand how great it is to have the modern day Halloween Reese's, because that stuff is, oh my god, those things are crack in our house.
Oh, yeah.
They're shaped
They're
like
so good, and
pumpkins.
they, and they're bite sized. They're so you're just like, that was pretty good. I need another one.
Absolutely. Plus, when I was a kid, back when I was a kid, there were no bite size or anything else. You got a full candy bar. What about you, Kelly?
I liked these chocolate bars called whatchamacallits.
Oh, yeah.
Those were good, yeah.
That seemed to be my
Absolutely.
jam. And
I
candy
keep
corn.
telling, ooh,
I like candy corn, especially if you just
ew.
nibble on them a little piece at a time. I don't know. There's just something very Halloweeny tasting about it to me.
In that they taste like a Halloweeny. God, no, candy corn's god awful.
They're fine. It's just as long as you don't eat a bunch of them at one time. That's why, because that mouthfeel is terrible. But again,
Yeah.
just in small, tiny bits is great.
There's a reason we don't have candy corn other associated products, you know? Like you never see candy corn cereal for the season. Candy corn milk made by Nestle. It's like, oh god.
Oh, that would be rough. Yeah.
It's right up there with black licorice to me. I'm just like, ugh,
Hey
ugh.
now.
All right, your most hated candy. If they gave it to you, you're just like, damn it. I'll be
Um,
first. Milk duds. I always hated milk duds.
really?
Hmm. And
Why?
anything fruity, just I didn't like them. It's just, ugh.
Milk duds is not fruity.
I know. I said and or
Oh,
anything
okay.
fruity. Yeah. So Skittles, those sweet tarts, no sweet tarts.
My least favorite is oh, circus peanuts. Do you guys have any idea what the hell circus peanuts are?
Yeah, they're like marshmallowy.
Yeah, they're like marshmallowy in that like my bed pillow is like marshmallowy.
Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
yeah,
Mm.
those I'm sorry, those were rough. And the best thing is they added a chalky taste to them also. So they were not only bad, tasting bad, but you also felt like you were up at the blackboard eating chalk.
Oh.
I got a rock. Um, so
It could always be worse.
yeah.
Yep.
I think the worst thing I ever got, just real quick, it was one of the attempts at my mother and father getting along again when we moved to Virginia.
Hmm.
They took us to a trick or treat thing, and I kid you not, someone dropped like a mini Bible in our bag.
Oh, really?
And I'm just
Wow.
like, okay, look, I believe in everything else, but really, that's what you're going to give me for Halloween?
Damn.
It was their way of combating evil, I guess.
Oh, and at least if they had had like a chocolate Bible that you could just eat, that would be great.
Uh,
But
I'm pretty
no,
sure that's sacrilegious at that point. I'm pretty sure.
Is it though? I mean, you might convert a few people.
that's no. I just Choco Bible.
Anything in chocolate, you could do really well with it. I'm just saying.
Well, that's true.
Sell it with the Buddy Christ action figure. Yeah.
We'd have to buy one at that point because Buddy Christ.
Ooh, Complete Verge for anyone who's a fan of Dogma, because we talked about that recently, I believe, on another episode. The rights have been cleared up definitively, and yep, Kevin Smith's going to re-release it, do a theatrical release and a new Blu-ray.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Hmm. So
theatrical release. Okay,
for all those people who try to buy it on eBay and it's at $150,
just hold out a little
yeah,
bit longer and you can get it on Blu-ray.
hmm, yep.
very nice.
That's gonna be us.
All right, so considering we're talking about Halloween,
Hmm.
I think that we basically need to talk about Thriller, the video.
Yes, the music video, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think that much like Bobby Boris Pickett and the Monster Mash, I think that Michael Jackson came up with the newer theme for Monster Kids, and whether you liked Michael Jackson or not, I think he gets cred for that. And then to bring in the kind of people who did the video,
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
let's face it, that video was kind of fun, you know?
Oh, even better than the video was the making of Thriller that
Yes,
came out on VHS at the time, because that was
absolutely.
one of my earliest memories of, "Oh, this is how movies are made," because they showed you John Landis, they showed
Yep.
you the applying of the makeup to Michael Jackson. It's a great video.
What I don't remember on the making of Thriller was, did they at the end did they actually show the whole video
Yeah,
also?
that's how it ended, was the video itself.
So was it kind of the only way you could buy it? Probably.
Yes, yeah, unless you recorded it
Oh,
off MTV.
Yeah. I have an inexpensive, meaning the company wasn't that good, but Laserdisc of the making of Thriller.
Oh, that's amazing.
that is
But
cool.
it was like Image or one of those.
Hmm.
Not to cut them down, but I mean it wasn't a pricey purchase, unlike Reanimator and that shit that costs $100
Ooh,
new. I don't mean on the collector's market. I mean it costs $100.
I remember when that came out on MTV, the original video,
Yeah,
they played it in rotation on the hour so you
pretty
wouldn't miss it,
much. Yeah,
and it was so amazing because I remember, like, we just kept watching it. Like, I wanna say, no kid, I think we practically watched it every time they showed it, aside from us sleeping, until they pulled it off into a regular rotation.
yeah.
That's, Rick Baker
Rick
right
Baker.
there.
Yeah,
oh wow.
Rick Baker, Monster Maker.
Jesus, man, that guy was a fucking or is a fucking genius. He just doesn't do much anymore. What's the next line, Rich?
Um, yeah, it's the one before Getting Down. It's
All right.
nope. There you go.
What's the next line, sweetheart?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, come on, guys.
You're asking the wrong person.
We'll
Well,
stand and fight
that
the hounds of
of
hell
hell and rot inside a corpse's
inside a
shell.
corpse's shell. Yes. Any idea of the next one?
Um, I got to tell you, this is going to be riveting video. Let me see.
Dude, there's people right now, they're gonna be watching, they'll be like, the next line is so simple.
Um,
Three,
yeah,
two,
it's body starts to
one.
quiver, so it's the one. Go ahead. The
Go for 2,000
4,000
years.
years to seal your doom.
Take a
Had I
guess.
known that there was going to be a freaking pop quiz,
Yeah, I know. I would have studied for it.
you can't just pounce on us with this, sweetheart. You really can't.
Sure we
And
can.
another thing is I should be able not to have to take this because I've actually met Vincent Price. Okay, so I have
Look at that
something.
guy, man. Look at him.
Oh, he was wonderful.
That is
I,
awesome.
now I understand he was reading it verbatim, but isn't it your body starts to quiver, not shiver?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so, yeah. And it could have
Well,
been he was up there, so maybe he just mistook a word. which is fine.
No, I'm saying I should get points for that.
Yeah, you got the card. You already got the one I met him card. I met mention price. Oh,
Yep.
So
by the way, I was talking to Gary Draney the other day. And did I mention I got a Pez dispenser from him in the face of Pumpkinhead? It's like,
I mean, that
Oh
is a
my
cool
God.
story.
he
Just
loves doing that. He's just like, oh, here, let me put this here. It's
so
like,
let
Well,
me remind you, this was released December 2nd, 1983.
isn't that weird? December
yeah.
that they released it? That's so bizarre.
Rich, I was 2 years old. So
Shut
this man over here, who's
Eek.
like, see, that's what I'm saying. He
Eek.
keeps acting like I
You
I
have
should
listened
know.
to this song a million times, easily.
Eek.
Actually, no, I
Easily.
haven't listened to it a million times.
And what
Thriller
year
is
Okay,
did
not
this
one
come
of
out?
those songs that I was like
Did you say it was 82?
83.
83.
83.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was
Math
I
time.
was 30th 30-ish. I was shy of 30. I was like 27, I think.
Okay.
God dang, man. That's just sad.
No, it's just
Oh,
time.
stuff.
That's exactly what it is. And when it came out, it hit you guys like that, and you were both very smitten with not only the music but also this video that came out because it
The
called to
visuals,
what
the
you.
whole thing.
Yes, everything was fantastic about it.
Yep. The stories, who's in it. I mean, in the first part where we realize that they're watching the cat creature part of it in a movie theater. Forey Ackerman is in the row behind them, who came up with Famous Monsters of Filmland. Um, there are a bunch of people in this video, and I think it's great. So I don't think there was a bad deal here, and I understand that there are people who don't like Michael Jackson for many reasons, but the
Hmm.
bottom line is the guy did the community a solid by doing this song, because we did need something besides Monster Mash. Monster Mash was 60s, maybe 62 or something like that, and there had been nothing since.
Yeah.
So I think it's great, and I got a kick out of the whole thing. I actually did think it was the second coming. I was like, oh my God, this is the best, ever. This is so.
And really, nothing is touched on since.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, okay, you were of that age, Rich. How did your other horror colleagues or friends, how did they take Thriller? Was there any negativity? Was there anyone like, it's mainstream kind of a thing? Did they appreciate it as much as I did as a kid?
No one thought it was crap, meaning that the video was of such high quality, and had some really credible people acting in it, and directing, and crew, and everything.
Mhm.
So no one thought it was crap. But were there people who wished the song had come from somebody besides Michael Jackson? Yeah.
Oh.
But then again, it could have come from Lee Greenwood. So maybe we should count our blessings here. But no, I mean, it was the biggest thing in the world. I think, and I do seem to remember there were a few other attempts at horror. Like I think there was a song called "The Bates Motel," and if memory serves, the band might have had even also a dark name. And then, of course, a decade later, there was Rob Zombie and those guys, and what Zombie did to music was just amazing to me. I loved it, and the fact that he brought in visuals from like the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and the Bells, and a bunch of stuff like that. Um,
Hmm.
that was a good time. That was a good decade for that kind of stuff. So I was in all my glory.
Before we get off the topic of thriller, it's got to be mentioned Ricky Crush of 1983, number whatever, Ola Ray. It
And
is
did
awesome.
you see her in that Bronson movie?
Yes, 10 to
Yeah,
midnight. Yep,
yeah,
yep, I did.
yep.
But I
Because
didn't know that was her until I was in my teenage years, actually.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time.
Because she's naked in that.
Yes, I know. She's taking it back.
In fact, it's frame 8,415 at the. No, I have no idea.
All Rich's VHS tapes are worn out at certain parts.
Yeah,
As the Rich got high and
they
PBK
have
comes
those
out of the water.
glitches. They have those glitches and everything. Yeah,
That's what I thought was great. The one line on Stranger Things talking about that
yep,
that the tape is always going to be messed up at that point of the movie.
yep,
I loved how Stranger Things season 2 used Thriller for their trailer.
yeah.
It's like a cool little remix they did. All
Yeah.
right, final question to the group for Halloween. Okay. What would you have liked to dress up as, or what did you never get to dress up as because either age or particular body style, whatever the case, or just anything? What do you wish you had dressed up like? I'm going to say Conan the Barbarian. I would have loved to be Conan the Barbarian, but just some of us are physically challenged.
um, I got halfway there. I dressed as an autopsy corpse the first year that Michael and I went trick or treating, and I was just standing in the background just to make sure everything was, they weren't getting hassled, they weren't getting beaten up for their candy and stuff like that. So I had on a suit, and I think the jacket was even ripped up the back, and I whitened my face and put dark under my eyes. But I would love to have been a full blown zombie.
Nice.
I would absolutely have loved that.
That's cool. That's cool. You concerned me for a second because I was like, you're talking about, oh, you're there halfway, and I just mentioned Conan the Barbarian. So I'm sitting
Yeah.
there thinking like, oh God, Rich is like, I wish I could have just been like this guy.
I wish I could have been his loincloth.
What? What is this?
That's from Night of the Living Dead, actually. So
Okay.
that's what I thought Rich was going to say. I just put on some boxers and I just walked around. Said, hey, everybody.
Okay, Callie, was there anything that you wanted to dress up as that you didn't get a chance to?
Probably this is gonna get a lot of backlash, but just as a giant cat, I think I would have loved that. Like
Like a furry costume
like a
kind of thing?
furry. Literally, yes. Just big old cat.
As long as you're not a brony, I'm fine.
Well, it's kind of hard for that to happen since you have to be a man to be considered a brony.
But you could dress up as a brony.
I could. You're right.
Say that's. I mean, you
So I
can
can pretend to be a guy who's really
who's
into My
pretending to
Little
be
Pony. Yeah.
who's trying to yeah.
So something like that, baby?
Yeah. Why do you keep
Mm.
having these tiny old pictures? They're so
I don't know.
little.
It's all I can find at some points in the
But yeah, just
conversation.
just a cat costume essentially.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And and
Here I was hoping
and
she
I
was going
think
to say Leia in slave garb.
No, that's your thing.
yeah. I'm
You need to
I'm just glad.
clarify that. You need to
I'm,
clarify that comment. You need to be your thing for me because the way you made it sound is my thing. Like
You want to dress
I
up
want to dress
like
up like Leia in the
Leia.
slave garb. Yeah.
Or Leia.
Because words, they're important. The context is important.
Who
Mm.
needs them? I said what I said.
I'm more worried that he wants to be Jabba the Hutt.
I don't know how to take that. I'm offended. I'm triggered.
Or Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut.
I'd be Pizza the Hut. That
Yeah,
dude was great.
Louise, he was great.
yeah, absolutely. So did we do Michael Myers-less horror justice?
I think we
I
did.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And of course, we can always do a sequel later. Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, again, this was just
Oh my!
something. What?
Actually, here, you guys
What?
talk for one moment. For everyone, this has been on the rotation. Oh my god! How old was Caleb at the time? Probably since 2015, when I bought a cheaper version of it, and it's come out since on Blu-ray. The WNUF Halloween special
Oh yeah.
is fucking amazing. You'll love it. Imagine you're watching a broadcast from the like mid 80s on
Okay.
syndicated TV, and that's what you get. So it's like a weird found footage. We're
Yep.
doing a live telecast from a haunted house, and it's so fun because they have
Hmm.
commercials that they've shot.
Of the
They're,
time.
they're, the, they're the type of commercials you would see on a syndicated TV station for a local business. It is so good, man.
It's really
All
good.
right.
I can't believe I didn't mention that sooner. Yes. Alrighty. I think we should change it up this episode. I think I'm going to do the outro on this one. So, gang, did we say everything we wanted to about the holiday season of Halloween?
I think so.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you
I did.
do you have any last words, my beautiful wife?
Well, her. Sorry.
My original wife, the OG wife. But yeah, we'll go. We'll let the new one go through. What do you have to say, good dear handsome sir?
Oh, now it's me?
Now it's you.
Okay. I'm going to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and the best thing about all of the episodes, though, is that you two are along. So, and that's it for me.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. And you? Oh, you're over here. My beautiful wife. What do you have to say?
I had a lot of fun on this one.
Cut. Aha! I cut you out this time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.